Scientists accidentally stumbled onto something that sounds more like ancient magic than modern physics. They discovered that reality literally doesn't exist until you observe it. And here's the part that will blow your mind. You've been doing this your entire life without knowing it. Every time you focus on lack, you create more of it. Every time you expect disappointment, you collapse that timeline into existence. But once you understand how this works, once you learn to observe with intention instead of habit, you become the conscious creator of your reality. This isn't wishful thinking. This is quantum mechanics, and what you're about to learn will completely shatter everything you thought you knew about your power to shape the world around you. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your thoughts, your focus, or your life the same way again. Physicists spent centuries believing reality was fixed and objective, a world built of predictable particles obeying unbreakable laws. But all that changed when scientists started exploring the quantum realm, where the rules of ordinary physics break down completely. In the early 20th century, pioneers like Werner Heisenberg and Niels Bohr uncovered something so bizarre that it seemed more like ancient mysticism than science. They found that simply observing a quantum particle, just watching it, could change its behavior. Electrons, for example, act like waves when left alone, but snap into solid particles the moment you observe them. It wasn't just a fluke. This observer effect stumped the greatest minds of the era, rewriting the boundary between objective reality and subjective experience. Modern research keeps digging deeper. Recent experiments using quantum processes have shown that observation and reality aren't just connected, they're intertwined in a feedback loop, with the act of measuring actually influencing what happens next. In groundbreaking studies, the more scientists watch the particles, the more powerful their influence becomes, shifting the results right before their eyes. As wild as it sounds, reality itself seems up for grabs, and the observer is always at the center. But the question is, how does mere observation hold this much power? What does this mean for everything you think is solid, dependable, and real? The answer is even more unsettling, and it sets the stage for the experiment that shattered humanity's entire view of reality. But that's only the beginning. Picture the simplest experiment imaginable. You have a wall with two narrow slits cut into it, like two doorways side by side. You shoot particles, electrons, photons, whatever, through these slits one at a time and watch where they land on a screen behind the wall. Common sense says each particle should go through one slit or the other, creating two distinct lines on the screen like throwing tennis balls through doorways. And when scientists first tried this with a detector watching which slit each particle went through, that's exactly what happened. Two clean lines, particles behaving like particles, but then they removed the detectors and stopped observing. The same particles fired one at a time through the same two slits suddenly created something impossible, an interference pattern of alternating bright and dark bands like ripples in water. Each individual particle somehow went through both slits simultaneously and interfered with itself. Even when scientists fired just one electron at a time, waiting minutes between shots so they couldn't possibly interact with each other, the wave patterns still emerged. Single particles were acting like waves. The most mind-bending part? The moment they turned the detectors back on to see which slit the particles used, the wave pattern vanished instantly, and the two-line particle pattern returned. It's as if reality itself reshapes based on whether someone is watching. Recent experiments at MIT stripped this down to its absolute quantum essentials, using individual atoms as slits and confirming what quantum theory predicted. The more information you gather about the particle's path, the more the wave interference disappears. This isn't just about tiny particles in a lab. This experiment reveals that observation doesn't just measure reality, it creates it. The universe exists in a state of infinite potential until consciousness collapses it into a single experience. And if that's true for electrons and photons, what does it mean for your thoughts, your focus, your entire life? Right now, as you're watching this video, you're collapsing possibilities into reality, not just the quantum particles around you, but your entire life experience. Because here's what most people never realize: you are never not observing. Your attention is always focused somewhere, and wherever it goes, it shapes what becomes real. Think about it. When you wake up and immediately grab your phone to check how much money is in your account, what are you observing? Scarcity. When you look in the mirror and focus on what you don't like about yourself, you're reinforcing that version of you. When you expect your day to go wrong, you're actively tuning into that timeline. The universe doesn't care if you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. It just responds to whatever frequency you're broadcasting. This isn't just quantum theory. It shows up everywhere in real life. Studies prove that when people know they're being watched, they change their behavior completely. Doctors wash their hands more when they know someone's monitoring them. Students perform better when teachers are paying attention. Even animals in zoos act differently when visitors are present versus when they're alone. The observer effect isn't limited to particles in a lab. It's the fundamental way reality operates. But here's where it gets personal. Every single thought you think, every emotion you feel, every mental image you focus on is an act of observation. And just like in the double-slit experiment, your observation collapses infinite possibilities into one specific outcome. When you constantly think about what's going wrong in your life, you're not just having negative thoughts, you're actively selecting that reality from all the possible versions that could exist. The research backs this up. Scientists have found that the more intensely you observe something, the stronger the effect becomes. When they increased the watching in quantum experiments, the particles changed behavior even more dramatically. This means your focus isn't just casual, it's creative. The more emotion and attention you put behind your observation, the faster that version of reality materializes. Most people are unconscious observers, letting their attention drift to whatever grabs it: problems, fears, drama, what's missing. But once you understand that your observation is literally selecting your reality from infinite options, everything changes. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the conscious creator of your experience. The question is no longer why is this happening to me, but what am I choosing to observe? Here's the brutal truth. 95% of your thoughts today are identical to the ones you had yesterday. Your brain operates on autopilot, running the same mental programs, replaying the same fears and focusing on the same problems. You wake up and immediately tune into worry about money, stress about relationships, or anxiety about the future. You're not consciously choosing these thoughts. They're unconscious patterns that have been running your life for years. This is why most people stay stuck. They want different results, but they keep observing from the same frequency. It's like trying to change the channel while keeping your hand locked on the same button. The quantum field can only respond to the signal you're broadcasting, not the one you wish you were sending. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you're consistently focusing on. It just accepts whatever you repeatedly observe as truth. The cycle breaks the moment you become aware of what you're actually observing. Start paying attention to your internal dialogue. What's the first thing you think when you wake up? What do you focus on when you're driving, showering, or lying in bed at night? Most people discover they're unconsciously rehearsing their problems, replaying past failures, or imagining worst-case scenarios. You're literally programming your reality to deliver more of what you don't want. But here's where the power comes in. Awareness itself is curative. The moment you catch yourself observing from limitation, you can choose something different. When you notice your mind drifting toward lack, deliberately shift your focus to abundance. When you feel fear creeping in, consciously observe confidence and strength instead. It's not about denying reality or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing which version of reality you're going to collapse with your attention. The breakthrough happens when you start questioning your automatic thoughts. Instead of accepting "I'm not good enough" as fact, ask yourself, is this belief serving me? What else could be true? Your limiting beliefs aren't objective reality. They're just patterns you've been unconsciously reinforcing through repeated observation. The moment you challenge them, you create space for new possibilities to emerge. This isn't easy at first. Your nervous system is addicted to familiar patterns, even painful ones. But with consistent practice, you can rewire your brain to default to empowerment instead of limitation. The key is catching yourself in the act of unconscious observation and making a different choice. Because every time you do, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing the reality those thoughts create. The breakthrough research is clear. Intentional observers can influence quantum outcomes through focused awareness. Scientists have found that when people enter specific meditative states before quantum experiments, they can actually shift the randomness patterns toward their intended outcomes. Your consciousness isn't just passive, it's an active force that shapes reality at the fundamental level. Here's how to harness this power. Every morning before your mind gets hijacked by external noise, take 5 minutes to become an intentional observer. Close your eyes and breathe deeply until you feel disconnected from your everyday identity. You're not trying to force anything. You're simply choosing what to collapse from the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Now visualize your desired reality with surgical precision. Don't just think about it, feel it emotionally in your body. see every detail, hear the sounds, smell the environment. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a vivid mental experience and actual reality. When you observe with enough clarity and emotion, you're literally instructing your nervous system to tune into that frequency and your quantum field to collapse that outcome. The key is emotional alignment. Research shows that the most powerful quantum effects happen when observers combine focused intention with elevated emotions like gratitude, joy, or love. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about becoming a vibrational match to what you want to experience. When your heart and mind are coherent, broadcasting the same signal, you create an electromagnetic field that can influence matter itself. Practice the already achieved state. Instead of observing from need or desperation, observe from fulfillment. Feel grateful for the outcome as if it's already happened. Notice how your body relaxes, how your breathing changes, how your entire energy shifts when you observe from certainty rather than hope. This is the difference between wishful thinking and quantum creation. Throughout your day, catch yourself in moments of unconscious observation and redirect your focus. When you're stuck in traffic, instead of observing frustration, consciously observe flow and synchronicity. When you check your bank account, observe abundance flowing to you. When you look in the mirror, observe confidence and vitality radiating from within. Every moment is an opportunity to choose which timeline you're collapsing with your attention. The most advanced practitioners take this further. They observe their entire day from their future self. They wake up and immediately tune into the version of themselves who has already achieved their goals, asking, how does this version of me move through the world? What do they focus on? How do they respond to challenges? Then they observe from that elevated state all day long, literally becoming that future self in the present moment. The universe operates on frequency. Everything that exists, every thought, emotion, object, and possibility, vibrates at a specific energetic signature. In quantum physics, researchers have discovered that matching frequencies is critical for quantum entanglement and information transfer between systems. When two quantum systems vibrate at the same frequency, they become connected, sharing information instantaneously regardless of distance. The same principle applies to your reality. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you match energetically. When you observe abundance with genuine emotion, your entire being broadcasts on the frequency of abundance. The quantum field responds by delivering experiences that match that vibration. It's not magic, it's the fundamental mechanics of how consciousness interacts with reality. Scientists studying quantum neural networks have found that systems preferentially align with frequencies within their primary range. This means your nervous system naturally tunes into whatever frequency you consistently broadcast. If you're constantly observing lack, worry, or limitation, your entire energetic system becomes calibrated to those frequencies, making it nearly impossible to manifest anything different. But here's where it gets powerful. Research shows that when quantum systems are initialized at different frequencies and then trained toward a target, they converge on that new frequency with remarkable precision. Your consciousness works the same way. When you consistently observe from the frequency of your desired outcome, feeling grateful, abundant, confident, or peaceful, your entire system begins to align with that new vibration. The key is coherence between your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. Quantum frequency matching requires all parts of your being to broadcast the same signal. You can't think abundance while feeling scarcity and expect the universe to respond to your thoughts. The field reads your total energetic output, not just your mental intentions. This is why feeling is more important than thinking when it comes to quantum creation. Advanced practitioners understand that frequency matching happens in layers. First, you match the emotional frequency of your desired outcome. Then your thoughts align. Then your actions naturally follow. Finally, your external reality reorganizes itself to match your internal frequency. It's not about forcing change. It's about becoming such a clear, consistent match to what you want that the universe has no choice but to deliver it. The most profound realization is that all frequencies already exist in the quantum field. You're not creating something from nothing. You're tuning into a reality that's already there, waiting for you to match its frequency. The question isn't whether you can have what you want. The question is whether you're willing to become the frequency of what you want and maintain that vibration long enough for reality to catch up. You now hold one of the most powerful secrets in the universe. You are not just living in reality. You are the observer creating it moment by moment through your focused awareness. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every image you focus on is literally collapsing possibilities from the quantum field into your experience. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. Knowing this information changes nothing unless you apply it. The quantum field doesn't respond to understanding. It responds to frequency, to coherence, to the signal you consistently broadcast with your entire being. This isn't about collecting more knowledge. This is about stepping into your power as the conscious creator of your reality. Right now, you have a choice. You can go back to unconscious observation, letting your attention drift to whatever grabs it, staying stuck in the same patterns that created your current reality. Or you can become an intentional observer, someone who consciously chooses which version of life to collapse with their awareness. If you're ready to transform from passive witness to active creator, hit that subscribe button right now. This channel isn't about entertainment, it's about activation. Every video is designed to upgrade your consciousness and teach you how to master the quantum mechanics of manifestation. In the comments below, type "I am the observer" to declare your shift into conscious creation. Let that statement anchor into your subconscious mind and ripple through the quantum field as your new identity. The universe is reading your signal right now. What are you choosing to broadcast? And if this video opened your eyes to your true power, smash that like button and share it with someone who's ready to wake up to their ability to shape reality. Because when one observer awakens to their creative power, it creates a ripple effect that transforms the entire field. Your future self, the one living the life you dream about, already exists in the quantum field. They're just waiting for you to observe them into reality. The question is, are you ready to become the frequency of everything you've ever wanted? The power is yours. The choice is now. You prograde now.